have notes, because when she was like, talk about the show, I was like, I don't even know where to begin, so I have notes. But a silly story is that Jen, last night, Facebooked me. I'm watching the bootleg of Good Vibrations right now, and I Facebooked her back, so am I, literally, at the same time. Because I had to do my research. I had blocked out a lot of it. So here we are, it's Good Vibrations, I'm 19 years old. I get cast in the Vassar production, which was a 6-week workshop starring Justin Guarini, and which is really fun. And so there were 42 songs, 42 Beach Boys songs in Good Vibrations when we started, which was unbelievable, which is why the dialogue is so thin, because it was just like, get to the song, get to the song. So I had been originally cast in the workshop as this role named April, who, if you've seen the shows many times, as Jen has, which I know you all have, Bobby and Caroline, the two lead people, like have, a star-crossed relationship. And so at the end, you find out that they've gotten together because instantaneously they age 30 years somehow. And obviously this never made it to the stage. This was a rehearsal end. So I was their son's girlfriend. So the scene opened on me, and I can't even remember what his name was, but I was April. And we were like, let's get ready for our road trip. And then like Bobby and Caroline are like, you kids, and they hand us the keys to their car, and we drive off in the sunset singing God Only Knows. And I had a solo and everything, and it was like 3 days later, it was gone. And by the time we hit Broadway, I was a swing. So lots of things change. So that happened. So then we were like working our bejesus buns off. Like just a cat. No one was over the age of 25. We were 19 of us were making our Broadway debut. It was like everybody was trying so hard to like make it the best. And two very special. I wrote down all the different endings to the show. So we had the April ending. There was the guy, Dave, who was like the friend of Bobby. There was a version, they really had this idea, they wanted it to be like really gritty. They wanted it to be different than like a typical Beach Boys musical. So Dave dies in a surfing accident. No joke, at the end of the show. So that went away. And
I never heard about that version.
Yeah. Then there was a version where we ended on Caroline and Bobby's wedding, and Sarah Glendenning was the wedding singer, and she sang the whole number by herself. That was a day in rehearsal, and then that was gone. So we settled on no ending at all. No joke. We just sang the song to the audience with no ending whatsoever for a solid like 7 preview performances before we came up with the ending that you saw for about 3 months. And so then we were in rehearsal, and these are like classic stories that if you get any Good Vibrations people together, they'll talk about these stories. So I'm going to demonstrate. So these are some of the failed attempts. Sorry, I'm talking so long, but I just told you there's so much to do. So all know the opening of California Girls. It's like dun 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 dun. It's this beautiful, like, cool intro. So the choreographer had the idea that he wanted everything in the show was slow-mo. I don't know if you remember this. Like, there's a lot of slow-mo. They really liked that. So he was like, we're going to throw the beach balls in slow motion to the time of the intro. So ideally, it was dun 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 and catch dun dun dun. Well, you can't slow-mo gravity. So we were trying, we were like, dun, 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 dun. Trying not to catch it, so that we would catch it on the cue, and that didn't work. And then the next day we came in, and there was a giant hula hoop constructed out of 4 hula hoops that had been cut in half and taped to each other. And the experiment was to have 14 of us do the hula hoop at the same time. Not possible. So these are the kind of things we were throwing out there trying to save the show. None of them worked, obviously. So fairly quickly, we had no one in the balcony in the audience. In fact, it was like right away. So, yeah, it was, I mean, it's a miracle. We stayed open 4 months, which is like unbelievable in the, you know, you would think these days. So, so I was a swing, you know, and so me and my 3 other swings, we would stay up in the balcony and we would put on shows for the people in the show so that they had something to look forward to. So we would do puppet shows and we would do strip teases. We like came out one time, we had like these robes and like we put on all of our costumes and then we were like taking them off slowly, like swinging them around during Help Me Rhonda. And so what she's talking about is at the end, at the final performance, we had made signs. We made banners that was like good vibes forever and we love you, Sebastian, and like we would hold them up anytime somebody would come on stage just so that they would have a boost. And we were all given flasks for opening night, so there was liquid in them. On that day. And okay, so that's it. So now I'm gonna end this though. I have a couple fun facts. Our assistant choreographer was none other than Tice Diorio from some Geeky Dance fame. Very few of his moves actually stayed in the show, but he was with us at Vassar and he was on Broadway. So that's interesting. Emmy winner now. A lot of good that did. And then, here's a funny thing. For some reason, John Carafa thought my name was Erica for the entirety of the time that I spent doing the show, which was a year. And, I mean, he kind of knew that wasn't my name after a while, but for some, he couldn't get it out of his head. He would always call me Erica. So I was, of course, distraught, because I'm like, in my first Broadway show, and the director doesn't know my name. So we made like a big joke about it, and we tried to make light of it. So as his kind of apology and to make good on it, if anybody still has their playbill from Good Vibrations, if you flip to the back where it has like, you know, who printed the playbill and who wrangled the kids, like the list of all the things, it says special thanks to Erica. And that's me. So there is no Erica, that's me. And then, I guess, oh, there was one more. Oh, John Stamos once walked out of a performance. We watched him get up and leave. It wasn't hard to find because he was one of like 10 people in the audience. And then my final fact is that I am the only person in the world who has sang all of the parts you're about to hear in this song on Broadway. I sang them all at one point, and I never sang any of them right. Should I set up the song? Oh, whatever. It's one of like the lesser known Beach Boys songs, which is cool, and it's actually quite beautiful, and it sounds like something that someone wrote. I think it feels very ahead of its time. So it's called Your Imagination, and it was sung by Caroline when her and Bobby are having one of their, you know, back and forth.
And I just want to introduce the backup singers here. We have Megan Kidd, Ashley Harrell, and Stephanie Griffith.